Watch me turn into a werewolf, and I will haunt till the break of dawn. Don't you dare to try to stop me. This is the horn of the Black Swan.
Hey, what's going on, Insomniacs? Man, it's Sun from the desk, and the mic is really close to me. Sorry about the background noise. 3D printer is going, so hopefully that's not coming through too terrible. Either way, so this is the boost gauge install, kind of. It's the major steps. If you want to see, I guess, the more in-depth kind of go at it for installing a GlowShift boost gauge in a 2012 MazdaSpeed 3, then hop over to the video that's dropped down in the link, and that's the entire journey that I went through for installing my GlowShift gauge pod with my boost, my water temp, and my air-fuel ratio gauge on the A-pillar. But this one's just the boost gauge. I kind of wanted to do each individual gauge just kind of separately. It's not going to be the full install because I feel like most people that are going to be watching this specific video just want to see kind of how the boost gauge works from GlowShift. So I'm not going to do any of the wiring in this video or any of the that crazy stuff. I'm going to show you what's in the box when you get it, sort of kind of talk about what you need in order to install it into your car. And then whatever vehicle you have, you're just going to have to do some Googling to figure out the specifics of where your vacuum lines are and that kind of stuff in order to tap your boost gauge into. And like points that you can run all the wiring and stuff through the wire or the firewall, and hooking up your power supplies and that kind of stuff within the fuse box and stuff of the car. Because obviously, if you don't have a MazdaSpeed, then nothing about my Mazda is going to help you at all. So yeah, I'm gonna hop into it, and hopefully you find something useful in this video. I don't think this is gonna be too bad. I just pulled out the first gauge, which is the boost / vacuum, and it's very simple. It's just gonna require a little bit of research-ish. So basically, we have those 4 wires that I talked about, right? And then for the boost / vacuum, it's an analog signal, I guess you can call it, going into the gauge itself. So they supply vacuum line and, sorry about the cat noise, and a T-fitting, right? You have this little T, so you snip the manifold vacuum line, you pop this in there, and then that little extra portion of the T, we're going to be hooking this on. And then it also comes with teeny tiny little clamps so that we can make sure that those all stay on well. The gauge itself has 4 wires coming out the back. It's got a black, orange, yellow, and a red. The yellow is for a constant power source, basically, so that the gauge can have memory, right? So it remembers what color you had it set to when you had the car running. And the black is obviously ground. Red is for whatever your keyed power source is, right? Yeah. And then the orange hooks into your headlights so that it dims when your headlights turn on. So all that's pretty straightforward. Oh yeah, and then that little brass fitting right here is where the other end of that vacuum line is gonna hook into. Oh my God, these cats. Well, after an unfortunately long run to Lowe's, I have some things. Okay, so I bought a crap ton of these brass fittings. I have no idea if they're gonna work, but hopefully they do. So, looking online, the vacuum line that I think I'm gonna hook into, the forums were saying it's either a 1/4 inch or it's a 1/2 inch. So I said fuck it and went with the 3/8. I'm thinking so long as it is, if it's a 1/4 inch, I could probably shove it on here and make it work. And if it's a 1/2 inch, then I could definitely clamp it down and make it work. I've got the little, like, twisty, windy metal things. I'll show you. And then I also didn't know how big the tubing is currently, because I didn't bring this with me. And it looks like it's bigger than that.
I'm gonna run over to the car and do a test fit. But basically what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm going to use this T-fitting. I've got that is gonna screw on to there, and this is gonna connect to this tube, which is going to connect via this to the vacuum line that I ran through the firewall in the car. And then these will go on either side of here in order to go maintain the other vacuum line. You know what I mean? So I gotta go back to Lowe's because, well, that didn't work. But when I did that quick little test fit on the tube that goes into the blow-off valve, it worked, right, with the 3/8 inch. But that tube apparently is incredibly stretched out because it's old. So I think I'm gonna need probably 1/4 inch, or even that 3/16 that I had for the other tubing. The vacuum line probably would fit just fine. So I have the T-fitting hooked up here, and then my T-fitting with the restrictor, and then just a blank hooked up there. And once I put all this back together, I'll run the hose between the two for the vacuum line. Moment of truth. Car is on. That's doing weird things on the camera screen. I think I think my vacuum line is kind of doing things. But yeah, all in all, the gauge looks really great. It tracks super well and it works incredibly. I've been driving around for a couple of months with it now, and I am very much enjoying having them. So as much of a pain as this project was, it's definitely worth it. So highly recommend. Super pretty, super functional, and I like it a lot. So if you guys have any questions about boost gauges and that kind of thing, I don't have any experience with anything other than the GlowShift gauges. There's a whole bunch of different brands that are out there that are recommended. GlowShift is just the one that I came across, and they had an A-pillar that I could buy that fit my car, and so I just kind of gave them a little bit of brand loyalty and bought their gauges to go with it. I've had no issues with the gauges themselves, especially the boost gauge. It's never done anything weird. And it's an entirely mechanical gauge, which means that even if you didn't have any power hooked up to it, it's still gonna react and respond the way it's supposed to, associated with your engine doing engine things. So anyways, hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, drop a like and a subscribe. Any comments down below, I'll answer as quickly and as, I don't know, smartly as I can. But hope you have enjoyed. See you next time. Midnight Sun out.